Guys, good to be with you. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today, that's the name of the show. This is the live stream, of course, goes with the radio show, which is going to start any second now. That's just a brick house Maduro there. Easy to smoke for the show. Smoke them if you got them, drink them if you got them. I am not here to judge. My glasses are dirty. I'm going to need some help with that. That's going to have to be fixed. Meanwhile, we got a radio show to do. Glad you're here. Let's go to work.
Americans and Canadians continue to love each other. My brother lives in Seattle, is an American. It's been American since the 70s. So we have a lot of families, American Canadians. We do a huge amount of trade in Toronto to US. We buy a lot of American goods. Actually, we buy more goods than China, Japan, France combined. It's like 500. Yes.
Really?
Yeah, because you're so close to us.
Yeah.
We buy all sorts of things. And this.
Yeah, but that's all over now, right? That's the mayor of Toronto right there. That's all over. And I know this because your very, very tough guy premier has said things will never be the same. Mark Carney, the prime minister, he said as much, that the old relationship is just over.
The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over. What exactly the United States does next is unclear. But what is clear is that we, as Canadians, have agency. We have power. We are masters in our own home. Nous sommes maîtres chez nous. We can control our destiny.
I swear to you, I thought he was going to say he's the master of his own destiny. I thought he was going to go full Seinfeld. Sarah, if you can put that together, that would just be terrific. Oh, that's funny. But it's only funny if you're an American. I guess maybe if you had some kind of like joke about that from Hockey Night in Canada. All right, elbows up. Elbows up. They say that now in the Liberal Party. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. 833-468-8669. 833 got Tony. That's how you get to be a part of the program. The live stream is going as well, people. You can check that out on YouTube, on the Twitter. Just search for Tony Katz and make that happen. Okay, the old relationship is over. So what is the mayor of Toronto doing, telling me, hey, look, we do all this trade together? Ain't it swell? I guess it was. And I'm not a tariff guy. I'm not a fan of what it is that I'm seeing. I'm not a fan of what it is that's happening. I think it all stinks to high heaven. The average price of a car, because of the 25% auto tariff of cars not made in the United States, will go up. It's going to jump by $12,500. Now, hold on that number. That is an Associated Press number. The average auto price on an imported vehicle. Well, if we're talking about imported vehicles, you're talking about some of those fine German luxury vehicles. You can't add Porsches into the mix and then give us a number. That's a scare tactic. That dog won't hunt. And people are going to do that, right? They just read the number and said, oh my gosh, look what's happening. The Porsche buyer, so very, very select buyer, and the tariff doesn't move them. It might move some options, but it doesn't move the purchase. So a number like that, this is what's so duplicitous about media in this way. A number that's thrown out there like this does not discuss the totality of the conversation. As a matter of fact, it barely scratches the surface. Where one has to look is what Cox Automotive put out. They say that tariffs will add approximately $6,000, maybe more, to the cost of the typical vehicle assembled in Canada or Mexico. Okay, those would be the vehicles that everyday folk are more likely buying. Now, that's not 12,500. That's still a real number. And by the way, added on to this number, this is stunning. According to Edmunds, the price of a new car is up 20% from just before the pandemic. The average transaction price of a new vehicle, $47,373. $47,000? It gets crazier because there is a very large swath of people. 1 in 5, so 20% of new car buyers committed to a monthly payment of $1,000 or more. I have no idea what I'm supposed to say. $1,000 or more? What car did you buy? And you know this is happening at 72 and 84 month payments. Keep the payments down. Now, where we're seeing the real explosion or the implosion is in subprime used car loans where people are defaulting. The total amount of auto loan debt is 1.66 trillion. It's more than credit card debt, which is 1.14 trillion. And we're seeing borrowers fall behind in this subprime space. It hasn't yet moved into an aggressive way, as I know the numbers, into the new car market. Well, $1,000 plus payments. What do you expect to happen? What are people buying? Look, I don't oppose somebody getting a car or a new car, and I don't oppose somebody getting a luxury vehicle. But there's a greater question here about what is it that you're buying? And for the parents out there who have, hey, look, you're my new 17-year-old driver, 16-year-old driver, 18-year-old driver. Here's a brand new car for you. You're not doing your kid any favor. You're just nuts. And you're like, who are you to judge me? Oh, I'll judge you plenty, kitten. I had to buy my kid a BMW because, well, their friends got BMWs, and I don't want them to be left out. Be left out. Be left out. Go invest. A new BMW for your kid, a new this, a new that. Used is just fine. That's a point of personal there. Get back to the numbers. The tariffs make costs go up. And it is not a debate. The Cleveland Cliffs steel plant, they are idling one of their production facilities and they're going to lay off 600 workers. Why? Soft demand for steel utilized in auto manufacturing. Idling portions of their plant in Dearborn, Michigan. The current reality of weak automotive production in the U.S. Now, this is strange because you have Hyundai, or is it Hyundai or Hyundai? Someone let me know. They're going to build a steel plant in Louisiana. They're going to build it there, and they feel very good about this, a massive investment, over $20 billion. That is good news. I want it to happen. Here's what's happening right now. I am told that you cannot speak ill of the tariffs because that's speaking ill of Trump, and that's not acceptable. Speak honestly. Speak honestly is the thing to do. Tariffs are going to be rough, guys. And that's all there is to it. The objective is simple. Bring more investment. Gosh, I hope it works. But there's a follow-up about how President Trump spoke to automakers, warning them not to raise prices. The Wall Street Journal has this story that when Trump spoke with CEOs on a phone call, he's told them you better not raise your car prices because of tariffs. If the tariff increases the price of cars, What are you going to do? If it increases the price of materials, if it increases the price of parts, what are you going to do? I do not want to hear this from the President of the United States. I didn't want to hear it from a Democrat. I don't want to hear it now. I don't want to hear that kind of talk. There are realities. I understand that you want interest rates to go down because of the tariffs. I understand that. I understand you want to pressure Jerome Powell. Well, that's the chairman of the Federal Reserve. As far as I'm concerned, you can make any comment there. You dang well choose, right? If people don't like that, that's them being personally offended, and I'm really not interested in someone's personal offense that is clearly a political offense, right? You want to tell a private business, a U.S. company, how to do business? No. No. We don't do that. That was Biden telling tech how they should censor. The answer is no. I'm out. And I think everyone should be out of that argument. Better to be in the argument of purpose, where President Trump is hitting it here and there, but I still wish it was stronger. The purpose of the tariffs is to try and normalize trade deals that bring more opportunity to the United States and more manufactured in the U.S. The argument against is that you can't manufacture everything, and there are some nations that will do it better. It will be cheaper, and therefore it will be better because you can then utilize your money in other ways and in other places. That will actually give you more options, and that's a good thing. I tend to find myself in the latter camp while still recognizing that we need more manufacturing here in the United States. I am a guy who wants to aggressively split the baby. When we offshored everything, it was a mistake. It was a terrible, awful, very bad mistake. Oh, we don't need to be people who build things here in the U.S. No. Let other nations do that. We'll be a service economy. Good Lord. Being a service economy is not the answer. You actually have to create something with your hands. Because the service economy will be replaced by AI, but you still need a chair. Your toilet still needs to work. And if your air conditioning doesn't work in the summer, everything's going to suck. You need to build things. A reliance on other nations to ship it to you? What if they decide not to ship it to you? And you say to me, well, they would never do that. And I'll say to you, let's talk about medicines. Did we or did we not learn from COVID that we developed the medicines in the United States? Our scientists, our technological advantages, really great stuff. And of course, capitalism, we design drugs. We don't make them. This is insane. Now, we don't have to be the only place who makes them. You certainly don't want to be the only place. You want to diversify that for all sorts of reasons, whether that be a raw materials issue or a weather issue or some other outside force issue. You still want to be able to get the good. Or the goods. Get the goods. So no, you don't want to have it all in one place. You want to diversify that out. It is safer, smarter, better. But we should build some. I do not deny the basic concept of President Trump. And as a basic concept, I am in full agreement. We need more production in the U.S. of all stripes, all things. We need to build more here. A 25% tariff will increase costs, and telling American auto manufacturers who may have to deal with some of that increase in costs, don't you dare increase your prices? No. No. That is just out of your minds. The president is wrong, and we should say so. I can't believe you're talking bad about President Trump. When he makes a mistake, I do. Well, he is a billionaire, and he's president. What are you? Just a dopey radio host. Okay. Checkmate. But I said that Joe Biden was wrong. I was right about that too. I'm not right about everything. I want the president to be successful. And when it comes to the border, he's doing great, great, great work. A series of things. When it comes to Doge and cutting, great, great work. We need more, and I'll get into that coming up. Disagreement's fine. He should hear it. He should hear it. So I'll say it. I want to build more in the U.S. 25% tariffs on cars is going to raise prices, and telling American companies they're not allowed to raise prices or don't you dare, and threatening them? Nope. That's just wrong. This is Tony Katz Today. Good on good. Oh, hey, Mike. There's a commenter on Facebook, and I'm not going to post the comment. I get it. I get it. You don't like me. You don't like the show. Everything we do is terrible. I get it. Okay, I'm not telling you not to be this way. I'm just telling you to do it somewhere else. I don't condone political violence. I never said violence solves nothing. I never said such a thing. Violence has solved a great number of things. Like, for example, slavery in the United States. It took a whole bunch of violence for slavery to end. Violence solves things. Political violence to intimidate, political violence to silence, political violence, let's say, I don't know, trying to murder your political opponent, not good for society. And if you want to bring up January 6th, you bore me, because I've already stated, you man-child. Hold on. Is that a good insult or not? Is man-child? You think all right? Do you think that's all right, Landon? All right. So we'll go with man-child. I have stated clearly that there shouldn't be blanket pardons. There are some people who engaged in violence, and there's a reason for them to be in jail. Absolutely, I've said it. But if you arrested people and you didn't give them access to a lawyer and didn't give them access to medical care, and you kept them in solitary confinement as a way of torture, pardon everybody, because some things are more valuable. And one of those things is ensuring we don't do that as a nation, no matter how angry Democrats are. If you think it's okay to keep people from their lawyers or medical care or in solitary confinement because you don't like their actions on January 6th, I don't think there's a place for you in civil society. You got to be pushed to the side, kid. Man-child. Glad we had this talk. Ooh, I am in a mood. But I have got, I have so many good things to get to. We will be ending the stream a little bit early today, but we will be going a little bit longer next week, probably except Fridays. I think Fridays will be a shorter day. That could be like how we get into it. I cannot wait. Not right now. Right now I have other stuff to get to, including the signal investigation. The signal investigation is a hoot, an absolute hoot. I will tell you all about it. All right. Where do I gotta go here? Sorry, guys, just gotta grab something. $30 seconds till back to the radio show. Got it. Listen, Penny, that is very kind of you to say. I like the fact that you need a little extra Tony on a Friday. But you know what? We'll see. I'm just gonna leave it there. We'll see. See, once again. Okay. It's good. We're good. Let's get back to the show. So you have senators, Republicans and Democrats, who want to see a formal probe of the utilization of this app Signal, right? Of course, they were talking about the attack on the Houthi rebels in Yemen, and it's the Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Director of National Intelligence, National Security Advisor, and they're all in this conversation. And then somehow a reporter got involved in the conversation. Like, how did that happen? Not enough people talking about that, but rather discussing the utilization of Signal as an app, which I'm fine with. Tony Katz today. It is rational to me that someone could say, hey, should we be using this thing? What are the policies here? Because we know the Biden administration gave guidance on utilizing Signal. Is this kind of conversation something that should be on a group text? And was indeed information put out that would be classified? Oh, wait, are we now saying sensitive? Are we saying classified? Who knows what they're saying? The rational part of me says, yeah, let's ask ourselves whether or not we should be using this. Let's go design something if we need to that'll better work. The part of me that knows better says Democrats are doing this to be able to start an investigation to try and take in a direction to be able to say, you have to fire this one, I have to fire that one, I have to fire the other one. All the people screaming for Pete Hegseth to be fired. It's so silly. Pete Hegseth is not going to be fired. He didn't do anything wrong. If you want to argue that the chat shouldn't have happened, that's fine. But Pete Hegseth put sensitive information out there, classified information. We were going to hit him with F-18s. I don't know if that qualifies. And they want to scalp. They want a political win. They don't want to make things better. So the part of me that's rational is like, yeah, we should do this. The other part is like, you can't trust these people in the slightest. But a funny bit of news. I can't tell you that this means anything. What I can tell you is that I think it's kind of amazing that there is this connection. I think it is. Well, I'll tell you, and you tell me whether or not this is a thing. Here we go. The CEO of NPR, Catherine Marr, the one who said that the truth gets in the way of working together, the one who was apologizing for not covering the Hunter Biden laptop story and not covering the Wuhan lab leak story. We made a mistake. We should have covered those things. You didn't make a mistake. This is who you are. It is all narrative, all propaganda. You do not share. You're not actual journalists, and you should not be funded. Defund NPR or fund Tony Katz. These are the options. We all get funding in radio, or none of us get funding. I would say none, but if there's going to be a check, the last name is Katz. Guess what company Catherine Marr, the CEO of NPR, is on the board of? Guess. Signal. I thought she was the chairman. She's not the chairman of the board. Catherine Marr is on the board. She is a director, board of directors for Signal, the app in question. I'm sorry. That's weird. It doesn't necessarily mean she did anything wrong or anybody did anything wrong. But I'm telling you, that's interesting. The story is over at PJ Media if you want to find it. I'll be curious if there are any other dots that connect from that. This is Tony Katz Today. All right. I hope I can do this right. I really and truly do. Like fixing this. That's much better. I'm going to try and do this. I am hopeful I can do it accurately. If I can, I'm going to be very excited. Now, I'm guaranteeing Sarah, who runs all our digital, that there's no way this will ever get monetized on YouTube or anywhere else. It's so worth it. I cannot describe it. It is fantastic. Oh, by the way, that is the Munchner. That is from Flederman von Riest. Proud to be their brand ambassador and assembled right here in Indiana, in the United States. Get your watch at vonriest.com. The mechanical, this one here, the small seconds. You see the little seconds there? That little box there, that's small seconds right there. You have got automatics, an incredible array of just some beautifully put together timepieces that you can have as your Sunday church watch or your everyday. Your choice. Go to vonriest.com, use promo code CATZ, KATZ, and get your discount. Let's get back to the show. We have 15 seconds. I thought you were doing a thing. Okay. I thought you were rushing me. So, all right, let's get to it. Get back to the cigar. I'm just want to say right now, I am not like other radio hosts. I know this. I'm aware of this. And honestly, this is it. You got to forgive me for taking a break from the politics, which is sometimes extremely necessary. Sometimes you got to stop. And the reason for it on this, very important. So Tony Katz today, good to be with you. A quick break from the politics.
Yes.
All right. I guess we're more excited about it than I thought. My wife got a text today from my youngest. I do not know whether to be proud or whether I am the worst father who ever existed. The text went like this.
All on the bad side. Been down since I began to call.
Hey, Mom, have you ever heard of Albert King? What?
Hard luck and trouble been my only friend. I've been on my own ever since I was 10.
Have I ever heard of Albert King? And my wife was like, you mean the blues? Yeah, I've heard of Albert King. And my youngest is like, oh, he's great, isn't he? So now, Albert King, very possibly the most influential blues guitarist of all time. It is so obvious that Stevie Ray Vaughan's sound, of all of the studying Stevie Ray Vaughan did, is clearly a connection and a draw from Albert King. It's undeniable. Have you ever heard of Albert King? So now the question is, did I not share Albert King with my kids? How bad of a father am I?
On the bad side. Been down since I began to call. If it wasn't for bad luck, you know I wouldn't have no luck at all.
Or do I look at it the other way? My kid is so looking at things, trying things, unafraid of things, not just following the crowd, never said, hey, can you take me to the Taylor Swift concert? Right? I didn't have to deal with that insanity, and found Albert King. Maybe, just maybe, I am the greatest father who ever lived, and all y'all's jealous, and I understand it, and ha! I don't know which one it is.
I can't read. I didn't know how to write. My whole life has been one big fight. Born on the bad side. I've been down since I began to crawl. If it wasn't for bad luck, I said I wouldn't have no luck at all.
That song is so smooth, ladies. I'm afraid it may have made you pregnant. I don't know which one it is. Like, I'm overjoyed. I am overjoyed that they asked, and I just, it's I know it's a weird thing to like get into, but like, you wonder. We play music in the house now. I'm not an audiophile like other people, right? I'm not playing music all the time. It's certainly not something that I grew up playing instruments. I didn't grow up with like real inspirations of music. Some people, it's all day, every day, all the time, everywhere. No question. But like, if I didn't share Albert King with my kids, what else didn't I share? But if my kid is aware enough to find out that Albert King exists, maybe I did something right. For me, this was a music thing. For others, it could be a totally different thing. And you do this. You totally do this as a parent. Like when something comes out, like, how did I not share that? How did I not teach that? That is a basic there. That is a stand. How could I have possibly not moved forward with that? So you tell me, worst parent in the world or greatest parent in the world? I swear to you, I am not sure which.
That ain't no lie. Ow! You know, if it wasn't for bad love, I wouldn't have no kind of love. If it wasn't for real bad love, I wouldn't have no luck at all.
The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. Yeah, I'm not the best parent in the world. I'm not the worst parent in the world. Somebody in the chat room said, technically, the greatest father that's ever lived was Jesus. My mother and my rabbi think otherwise. But I'm not going to argue with you. Oh, God. Oh, the emails. I can feel the emails. Please send all hate mail to Mike Gallagher at yahoo.com. Any parent knows that you're good or you're bad based on the day. And I make the assumption that most parents look at themselves and say, I could have done better. I could have done this. I could have done that. Could have done the other. Should have done the other. Should have done this. Should have done that. It's kind of fascinating what you do to yourself. And I'm not different in that regard. I do that all the time. And some of it with actually good reason. But I'm just sorry that my kid may not have known about Albert King until now. And what else have I not shared? And exactly how much can you share before it's like, all right, would you shut up already? I'd like to graduate college now. Teach your kids about Albert King and do it today.
You know, wine and women is all I crave. A big leg woman gonna carry me to my grave. Born on the bad side.
This is Tony Katz today.
Since I began to crawl. If it wasn't for bad luck, I tell you I wouldn't have no luck at all. Yeah, I'm a bad luck boy. Been having bad luck all of my days.
Eat it out. The radio sound. Well, are we doing more music? Is that it? Oh, I would. Politics all day? Come on, everybody's doing politics all day. I gotta be something else. Oh, and I'm gonna get yelled at. Why aren't you talking about this and why aren't you talking about that? I don't know, because I'm not angry. And I think kind of parenting conversations matter. Real life is happening more than just freaking tariffs. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer says I don't have to do politics all day. And if Jennifer said it, it must be true. Thank you. All right. I do have something political to get to. So there's a video out of Jon Stewart learning that if you wanted to get funding for Joe Biden's Build Back Better program, there were 14 steps, and the steps are so insane that he in this interview lost his mind, but he's cursing, so I can't share it with you. I'm not able to edit it right now. Maybe I can get to it. You got questions? We've got answers. You can ask anything, and I'll answer most nearly everything. Guys, good to see you here. If you're new, welcome. I'm Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz today. Vic, this is the Brick House right here, the Maduro. This is an absolutely excellent cigar from J.C. Newman. Actually, I have my J.C. Newman cutter right here. Look at that. Look at that right there. My J.C. Newman cutter. It's a little beat up. That's okay. Still works pretty fine. It's a butterfly cutter. See, J.C. Newman cigar. It's a Zycar, which I think makes a very, very good cutter. When you're doing cigars, spend money on cutter. Do not spend money on lighters. This was my lighter from Walgreens. This was $5. There it is. Look at that reservoir. That is butane for days. This was a gift. Was part of a gift set right here from J.C. Newman. I happen to like the butterfly cutter. I like the feel. Some people like a stopper at the end so they don't cut too far. That's personal preference. This is a straight cut as opposed to a V. Spend the money on cutters, because cutters, I mean, all cutters will pinch and then slice through. And so with that, you want a clean cut. You want something that's as sharp as possible and holds the sharpness as much as possible. Don't. If you need something in a pinch and you need like one of those $5, $7 plastic ones, do that. I get it, right? It'll work for a little while, but you want something that'll last and be able to provide you, and you won't be like upset when you cut the cigar. You want to get something of quality. It doesn't have to be Zycar, right? They're not sponsors of mine or anything like that. I just do think they make a very, very lovely product. I think they make a very, very good product. So cutters is what you want to spend on, not lighters. Fire is fire, right? That's all it is. Just fire. You want to do it on the cutter. I will be with you guys. That happened a while ago. Why is there a story out today about something that happened like a month ago? Huh. Being asked if I'm going to the game tonight. I am not. I haven't even thought about it. I didn't ask. Actually, I did ask one person, but no, I am not going to the game tonight to Purdue, Sweet 16. Doesn't mean I won't be watching, just not going, which is fine. It's fine. So why did Trump pull Elise Stefanik from consideration? What is the real story here? Well, let's start with a basic. Elise Stefanik, the congresswoman from New York, did absolutely nothing wrong. She is extremely good. What she did in exposing the bigotry of college campuses, of Claudine Gay, of Harvard, and these other, the Columbia University leader and others was invaluable. And we owe her a huge debt. Tony Katz today. Why can't she be the ambassador to the UN? Well, the answer is numbers. We have got a very, very thin majority in the House of Representatives due to the Republicans. And so with that, you can't give up too many people. If you have Stefanik leave the House to become the ambassador to the UN, you have to have a special election. And there's a question, I guess, about that special election in New York and whether or not a Republican will replace her. If that's the issue, Democrats argue, well, it means that Republicans are weak and everybody hates Republicans and they're flailing and they're on the run. It just means Democrats are going to have victories. No, it doesn't. A special election in one place does not mean that in the midterms, Democrats are going to have this great fortune. Now, usually, the opposing party of the party in power does well in a midterm. It's just the way people are. But the Democrats won't stand up for a child beating brain cancer, won't stand up for a mother who lost her daughter after the daughter was raped and killed by an illegal immigrant. The only thing they'll stand up for is war in Ukraine. That's the Democratic Party. And America must be reminded of this every day. The same party that's okay with burning Teslas, the same party that's okay with intimidation. I've got more on that coming up for sure. But you can't say one district is indicative of what the midterms will look like. But enter Scott Pressler, the guy who has done invaluable work in Pennsylvania in trying to get elections won, noting that Republicans have lost a couple of special elections in red states like Iowa. You got this Wisconsin Supreme Court race. What is going on here? His belief is that Democrats are amped up and showing up in force. What is it that Republicans are doing? And I will get more into this, but allow me to start with a baseline thought of something we discussed on this show months ago after the election. We took a look at the data, and I put together a whole event, understanding the election in 3 bourbons. The next event, April 17th, Trump and American Reset in 3 bourbons. Tickets.tonykatz.com. You want to come be a part of it. Tickets.tonykatz.com. The bourbon, the cigars, the laughs. We're going to have such a good time. The food's going to be incredible. I put on a party. I put on a show, people. Tickets.tonykatz.com. You got to be there. You got to be there. Kokomo, Indiana, April 17th. You are going to love it. You're going to learn a lot too. When we did the first event, what we learned is if you take a look at the data, the exit poll data, the results, there is a difference between the Trump supporter and the Republican supporter. I give you this example. Trump discusses how he won the swing states. Republicans did not. Did they win the Arizona Senate race? No. Did they win the Nevada Senate race? No. Did they win the Michigan Senate race? No. Did they win the Wisconsin Senate race? No. No, they did not. And you take a look at the numbers, and people actively did not vote for the Republican. They voted for Trump. They didn't vote for the Republican. Trump activated the low propensity voter, no doubt. Republicans did not. Trump has a good brand. Republicans don't. And Trump has not, as of yet, lent his brand to getting Republicans elected in these special elections. That's obvious based on the losing, because the losing would be expected when you take a look at what it is Republicans did in those places. They did not overperform anywhere, including in places like Pennsylvania, where David McCormick won the Senate race. And good, by the way. I'm glad that he did. Pressler's argument is that we have to get a ground game going or we're going to lose. And he's right. He's right. You can't risk the House. So Stefanik cannot be the ambassador. I mean, that stinks, but that is politics and that is real. It stinks to high heaven. Stinks for her, and she'll be back in the administration maybe in a couple of years if you get a larger majority of Republicans in those midterms. But anybody who's spending their days and nights and weekends talking about Trump this and Trump that and Trump won and all that matters is Trump, that's just not it. That's childlike. You have to win. And to win, you have to fight. And you have to fight every day because Democrats are in absolute disarray. Absolutely. Hakeem Jeffries can't fight. Chuck Schumer can't fight. Not a wartime conciliary between the two within the party. But man, they really know how to say Trump a racist, Trump a bigot. And now Elon Musk a racist, Elon Musk a bigot. And they're stealing grandma's Social Security. And if you're not fighting back against that 24/7, 365 with little breaks here and there and somebody else taking over, well, you got no shot. I am not convinced by any stretch that removing Elise Stefanik from consideration to be ambassador to the UN means bad things for the midterms, because I think the midterm is a different beast altogether. But I think the concern about that district and some other districts should be the starting pistol for the Republican Party to message now, message loud, and do not stop. Do not stop. The midterms have begun. It's the way you have to visualize it. And you have to message and reach people where they are, because those people online are not necessarily all the voters. This is Tony Katz today. Oh, I'm going to get hit for that as well. Oh, I'm sorry. I think the honesty might be problematic for some, but I can't worry about those people. Here's the story, guys. We are going to hit the break because the radio show's in break. We have got the Friday audio dump, and then a story about Tren de Aragua, this Venezuelan gang, and the text of the Alien Enemies Act, an interesting piece over in American Greatness about whether or not the act is being used properly by President Trump, and a different reading of it. I will bring that to you. I'm glad you guys are here. By the way, if I didn't mention, look at that beauty. The Munchner from Flederman von Riest. As a matter of fact, I have the whole, look at me. I have the whole catalog right there. Look at that. Look at that. Here's the here's the chronographs. Look at you. Yes. And you go to Von Riest, RIESTE, vonriest.com. Use promo code CATS and get your discount. Some beautiful pieces. Beautiful, beautiful pieces. You're going to love, assembled right here in Indiana. That's in the USA. Indiana, USA. You've seen pictures. It's fantastic. Go to Von Riest, R-I-E-S-T-E. Go to vonriest.com. Use promo code CATS and get your discount. Do that right now. We're going to take the break. Keep it here, guys. We'll be back. Guys, welcome back. Good to be with you. Tony Katz. The show is called Tony Katz Today. I'm Tony. This is my cigar, Brickhouse Maduro. Today is what we are smoking. We have the Friday audio dump. We're going to get to that and this interesting take on the deportation there of these violent criminals known as Tren de Aragua. This Venezuelan gang. And some people noted, right, that Kristi Noem made this video in front of the prisoners. Some people said that that's a violation of the Geneva Convention. Interesting. But some people noted, like I did, is she wearing a Rolex Daytona? And she was. She was wearing a solid gold Rolex Daytona. 60 grand? 50 grand? I guess, depending. So with that right there, people have something to complain about now. They always have something to complain about. Taking a look at Twitter here. Gosh, I honestly, I keep the trolls, I keep them in business single-handedly. Look at me. And someone wrote on Twitter, I'm 30 and I've never heard of Albert King. Producer Landon, you are not 30. Have you ever heard of Albert King? Recognize the name, didn't know any of the songs. I don't know. I appreciate this person. Cigars and bourbon are bad for you, so I'm going to send you my address to send everything to me so I can take care of it for you. All right. And of course, my co-host of Featuring Smoke Fingers Malloy. You're a great American. Unfortunately, it's going to get lost in the mail. Radio show's about to begin. Glad you guys are here. The deportations should continue until morale improves. That's what should happen. Tony Katz today. Guys, a pleasure. What is happening? Find everything at TonyKatz.com if you would. Of course, you have President Trump, you have Kristi Noem, you have Tom Homan involved in the arrests, involved in the deportations of people here illegally. And then you have this judge, a district court for the District of Columbia, James Boasberg. James Boasberg said, you can't deport those people. You can't park that horse over there. And you have to turn those flights around. Now, that was a spoken order as opposed to the written order. The written order did not discuss anything about turning planes around. The planes did not get turned around. Those illegal immigrants were brought back to other countries, to Venezuela, to this jail in El Salvador, Bukele's, the president there, who is very serious about cleaning up his country. And he has always made a great argument, right? Remember, it's not the United States. Their laws are different. His argument is that if we were a better country, less people would leave and go to the United States. Less people would try and go into other countries. They'd stay here because we have better opportunities. My gosh, what a revolutionary thought. We should be all about that and all about supporting that. But some have argued that you simply cannot deport these people because they're not getting their due process. I don't believe that is the case. I think that's a worthy argument. Then came the conversation about whether or not these people can be deported via the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, signed into law by John Adams. I have it in front of me right here. The argument is that the Alien Enemies Act cannot be utilized in this scenario because we are not at war. The argument being that it's something that applies to wartime and not to right now, because also who exactly are you at war with? So over there at American Greatness, Bart Marcois, Marcois, makes the point that this isn't about a declaration of war, but rather a statement from the commander-in-chief about invasion. Now, I have stated to you that Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution says that we are guaranteed a Republican form of government and that the government will protect the citizens from invasion. Now we get to maybe the meat of the matter. Who decides what is an invasion? Is that a declaration from Congress? Well, Congress declares war, and I think that's extremely important, and we want that. But invasion, who makes such a declaration? So what Marcois says, I believe I'm pronouncing his name properly, that he's quoting the Alien Enemies Act, and it reads that whenever there shall be a declared war between the United States and any foreign nation or government, or any invasion or predatory incursion is perpetrated, attempted, or threatened against the territory of the United States by any foreign nation or government, and the president makes public proclamation of the event, all native citizens, denizens, or subjects of the hostile nation or government being of age of 14 years and upward, who shall be within the United States and not actually naturalized, shall be liable to be apprehended, restrained, secured, and removed as alien enemies. The argument being that it is an invasion. And the president has made the proclamation going to March 15th. Quote, I find and declare that Tren de Aragua, this Venezuelan gang, is perpetrating, attempting, and threatening an invasion or predatory incursion against the United States of America. Tren de Aragua is undertaking hostile actions and conducting irregular warfare against the territory of the United States, both directly and at the direction, clandestine or otherwise, of the Maduro regime in Venezuela. So, is that declaration enough? But going back to the actual language, it says, any invasion or predatory incursion shall be perpetrated, attempted, or threatened against the territory of the United States by any foreign nation or government. Well, we're now talking about a gang. But in the declaration, the president states that it's at the direction, clandestine or otherwise, of the Maduro regime in Venezuela, therefore stating making the declaration that this comes from a foreign government. Therefore, the president has the right to utilize this act to remove these people. This is absolutely Supreme Court stuff. I would argue that the Supreme Court, I don't claim an expertise. I certainly pay attention. Maybe you pay more attention than I do. What the Supreme Court tends to lend itself towards, and I'm not just talking about this court, I would argue in general, is the very idea of, we talk about meaning, but the very idea of allowing those who are prescribed the job to do the job. So when we talk about the Chevron case, and the agencies all those years ago were given this almost carte blanche to make rules and regulations and decisions that had the full weight of law. and taken out of the hands of Congress to make those laws. What the court said at the time was, well, this is Congress saying that this is the best way for these things to be handled. What happened was that the decision was taken totally out of the hands of Congress, and the removal of Chevron, the ending of Chevron deference, is to say that the agencies have been acting in a way that is not about how we are founded, that they're creating law that have major effect that should be created by Congress and not by the agency. It's a loose paraphrase, but work with me on the basic details. They tend towards the idea that these branches and these groups within these branches have the right to do these things. This is their charge. I'm not sure from this reading how the court will state, well, first, something we know to be true, that the very concept of deportations, of border security, of immigration is the purview of the President of the United States. I think that is a well-documented, well-understood concept. If Congress wants to pass a law, they are able to. But the implementation, that's the president. If the law doesn't exist, and the law would have to say you can come to the country illegally, we don't have a border, well, then the president can get engaged in deportations because he has the law on his side. If the court is saying that you cannot utilize the Alien Enemies Act as your rationale, which was the Shannon Bream argument, Shannon Bream, Fox News, looking at what the court said in that 3-person panel and saying, this is what they're saying. You can't use this law, but you could still engage in deportations. Deportations are allowed. Well, this is the argument saying that no. That district court is wrong, and the Supreme Court has to make a change. It seems that no one is arguing whether or not the president can engage in deportations. Oh, don't get me wrong. Some people on the left are, but they're dopey. They're having an argument of what piece of law could be utilized to make these things happen. But I think the basic flaw with the progressive argument is that somehow the illegal alien has the rights of an American citizen. No, they don't. And I would very much like for that to be codified. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz. Tony Katz Today, getting ready for where in the world? Where's your sound there? Oh, there it is. Getting ready for the audio dump.
On this Feel Good Friday,
It's now time for a Tony Katz audio dump.
Yes! Yes!
do you hear yourself?
Stay calm! Everybody calm down! Oh my god, this is so awesome.
Pocahontas says yes.
There it is. There it is. We'll be putting that on the show right there. Just another minute or two. I've got a couple. Like, why is everybody so angry that JD Vance is going to Greenland? Don't get me wrong. I don't think you get to say Greenland, you're going to be part of us whether you like it or not. I think that's weird and a little creepy. You can't force Greenland to do it, but you can make an offer. And Denmark can say they've been part of the kingdom for 900 years. Well, then it's time for a change. That's it. That is it. So we're going to come back to the show in another 30 seconds. Taking a look at some of your comments right here. Are we still talking about Jesus as dad? Look at that. According to the Knights Templar story, Jesus was a father. If so, I would like to think he was a good one. Sure. Sure. Let me see what's happening here. All right. When it is Friday, it is time for an audio dump.
On this Feel Good Friday,
It's now time for a Tony Katz audio dump.
Yes! Yes!
do you hear yourself?
Stay calm! Everybody calm down! Oh my god, this is so awesome.
Pocahontas says yes.
I got to come up with a better name, don't I? There's got to be a better name, producer Landon, than Tony's audio dump. I mean, seriously, we got to get the boys in the lab and figure this one out. I have a whole host of things to get to right here, starting with everyone's favorite Chinese spy sexual partner, Eric Swalwell.
Why is JD Vance in Greenland? Greenlanders don't want JD Vance in Greenland, and Americans don't want him there. I mean, he should go to Greensboro or Green Bay and go to a supermarket and see what is really, crunching and hurting everyday Americans right now.
First, are those the only two places he could think of that start with green? See, he shouldn't go to Greenland. He should go to Greensboro or Green Bay. Why not just say he shouldn't go to Greenland? He should go to Disneyland. Land. Greenland, Disneyland. Oh, that's probably why he didn't do it. Probably why. I don't understand why people are angry at JD Vance for going to Greenland. His wife was going to go, and all of a sudden she can't go by herself, and now he's going with her. What's the deal? Well, we can't have Greenland. We just can't take it. I agree. We just can't take. I mean, I guess we could, but we shouldn't. But there's a deal to be made. Let's go make a deal. And Denmark wants to tell you that they've held on to the country that's been part of the kingdom for 900 years. Well, that's enough. We used to be part of a kingdom. Oh, it's a true story. That's a true story. Let's go back like 250 years. And the United States, these colonies, they called them colonies at the time, fledgling and figuring things out and writing things down. And they had some articles, they didn't work. They said, we need a rewrite. Tommy Jefferson, you've seen pictures. We need a rewrite of this. And he's like on it. But first, I'm going to smoke some weed. And I've got this date with this girl, Sally. I'll be back. Oh, too soon? No? Yes. And then it was July 3rd. He's like, oh, crap. It's July 4th tomorrow. And he started writing. Turned out pretty good. We were part of a kingdom and now we're not. Things change. I do not think that Greenland is going to become part of the United States. I do think there's an opportunity for a deal for military bases and minerals. Good for Greenland, good for Denmark, good for us. Not good for anyone? Eric Swalwell, who manages day in and day out to be the most pompous member of Congress. And like, that's hard. To be the most pompous member of that group, of that clique, super, super difficult. Then we have Governor Tim Walz.
Well, Sammy, thank you. And to all the young people who are here, I just pause for a moment and look around and look at, I'm especially talking about these old white guys who seem to disappoint us on a regular basis in this country.
Old white guys. I have been saying for years that old white guys are the problem. I as a matter of fact, I'm not sure how anybody can question that. He means himself, right? Or no, he's one of the good ones. Does he mean Bernie Sanders? Or is Bernie Sanders one of the good ones? What's the difference between the good old white guy and the bad old white guy? I would love to get a ruling on that. What makes George Soros good? But who's an old white guy on the political right? All the rest of them?
Hey, old white men.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Hey, old white men.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just another bit of boring, another bit of race baiting, just pure trash, pure Tim Walz. By the way, that isn't the craziest thing he said. I will get into it. His conversation about a shadow government. Oh my. But there was this from Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
We're not going to cut services. We're not going to cut Medicaid. We're not going to cut Medicare. We're going to continue. We're going to provide services, but more efficiently. We have, thanks to Elon, and by the way, what Elon did with our agency is going to help our agency. So I'm very grateful to him he came in for the first time with a real org chart for the agency. The agency org chart when I arrived was incomprehensible.
This cutting of Medicaid, this cutting of Social Security, this fear-mongering from the left. Two things. They have been having this conversation. If you've been alive, ask yourself how many years you've been alive, right? So producer Landon, how long have you been alive? 23 years. Producer Landon, they've been having this conversation for 23 years. They've been having this conversation for 23 years. Sarah, who runs all our digital. Sarah, how long have you been alive? I don't think Sarah wants to give her age, but let's say she did. That's how long they've been having this conversation. It's all they do. It's all they do. This fear-mongering over and over and over again, and America still eats this up. America still laps this up. Do better, America. Now, here's the number two. We don't necessarily have to cut services. We have to ask ourselves if these systems actually work. Do they or do they not? And if they don't, why don't we change them? I don't think of Social Security for my future. I don't. I don't think of it at all. And when I do planning for the future, I don't put that number in. And if we have been putting that number in, we got to take it out. Because why would I think it's going to be there? We created a boondoggle. And now we've decided that the boondoggle must remain for forever. And government and the political left says this is the reason for government to ensure that the boondoggle stays. Not actually providing, again, we go back to this, not actually providing the service, but ensuring that the institution exists. I don't believe in anything that I have seen that the cuts are going to come, but changes can come. And I want to go on the record saying I'm not bothered if cuts do come. Do these systems work? Can they survive? Can we keep them going this way? Nothing lasts forever. Why do they keep doing this? You mean Social Security has to remain, but the Constitution has to go? Weirdos. Weirdos. But they're going to keep fear-mongering. And when I talk about messaging, you got to message against that by knocking these people around. You do. You truly do. This is Tony Katz Today. Find everything at TonyKatz.com. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, I got to go. We're going to run longer next week, I promise. But Fridays might be my, okay, I'm going to go. Might be. I am allowed. I'm not allowed? Hold on, this just in. I'm allowed. But I do have to run from the stream today. We've got more radio show at WIBC.com. I know it is. I know it's only 1:30. I started with this. I warned you. Full warning I gave. Just to be clear. I hope you enjoy the feed. I hope you enjoy what we're doing here. I appreciate you guys being here. My thanks to Flederman Von Riest. That's a beaut right there. This is the, because I'm an Indiana guy. These are Purdue colors. It's the black and the gold. It's in their standard production. It just happens to look awesome right there. You can find that at vonriest.com, RIESTE. Use promo code CATS and get your discount. You should do that. You should do that right now. Father's Day, Easter, graduation. Oh, graduation gift. Graduation gift. You should get that done. Go to vonriest.com and get your watch. And then, of course, April 17th, Trump and American Reset in 3 bourbons. What a night. A look back at Trump's first 100 days. It's going to be sensational. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Tickets.tonykatz.com. And my thanks to Laser Precision Marksmanship Club, laserpmc.com for sponsoring the event. Oh, look at it. These people are fantastic. You can actually use Tony Katz 20 and you'll get 20% off. And if you're interested in opening a business, they've got franchises available. Terrific people. And thrilled that they're a part of it. Cannot wait to work more with them. Laser Precision Marksmanship Club. Thrilled that they are sponsoring Trump and American Reset in 3 bourbons. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Get your tickets. Do it right now, if not sooner. I appreciate you guys being here. I want you to have a glorious weekend. The radio show continues. You can stream it at WIBC.com, and I'll put that in the chat. And I will catch you all on Monday on the stream. You guys take care.